So what would be your top tips for building a powerful persona and personal brand? What would be some of your top tips? Is there a framework? The steps?
Yeah, and some of the stuff that I had mentioned in the previous conversation um, are some of those steps. I do believe that it begins with life vision. I think you have to be very clear on knowing what you want, and the way that I do it is very granular. I don't. It's not just vague. Like I want to live a good life and be healthy, and I'm getting very, very specific, measurable, et cetera, in many areas of life.
Yep.
So I get you crystal clear on what you want in life. Now, looking at that as a composite, you start to kind of make decisions now. What kind of business model fits the life that I want? Because sometimes, there's people who they have conflicts at the life vision and the business model level. What I mean by that might be, I want to be a famous speaker and I want to be speaking on stages all around the world. But at the same time, I want to be a parent who's very present with my children. And it's like there's a conflict there because the business vision doesn't really fit the life vision.
Mm.
And so what I like to do is holistically kind of bring all that together. What do you want out of life? Who do you want to become? Now let's look at your business model and tailor your business model to your life. Within that, what does that role look like for you? Who do you need to be in that role? Okay. Then from there, it's like, okay, let's look at all of the internal resources that you bring. What are your talents? What are your gifts? What are you really good at? What are you passionate about? What are you an expert at? Can we take your expertise and maybe recast it in a different direction where it has more value? Right? So there might be an audience where you're serving a very general audience, or maybe you're serving an audience that isn't going to pay a lot. Whereas if you just shifted what you did a little bit, you could end up charging a lot more, establishing yourself as more of a premium brand, and so on, right? And it changes your entire positioning. So we go through this internal strategic process and get you really, really clear on who you are, who you want to become, and then we start to develop the business strategy. How do you now look at your market? Who's in your market? What are the kind of messages that people are used to hearing in your market? What are the kind of personalities that are there? Who are the gurus? Who are the experts? And how can we now position you as unique in your own space? How can you be first and only in a category inside of that market, right? This is all goes back to Al Ries and Jack Trout positioning, right? Those concepts.
Yep.
How do we make you stand out in that area, right? And then it becomes like, how do we look inside? What is your life story? How do we take the life lessons, those poignant moments from your life that were where you learned lessons, right? How do we extract all of that from you and now turn that into messaging, content, and so on that positions you, that makes you stand out and makes you connect with an audience, right? People want that emotional, personal connection. And so from that point, we start to build it out into a strategy and then a monetization model, of course.
Yep.
How do you actually want to get paid?
Yep.
Do you want to have a membership community? Do you want to sell high ticket programs, $25,000, $50,000 program? Can we do that, right?
Yep.
So what do you actually want, and what does that look like in a business model? And then how do we get you there? So that's kind of I've taken you through a very
Yep.
long spectrum, but I really do believe that you build it from the inside out.
Yep.
That's, I think, if there's one thing that I would say I do differently, or I talk about this differently than a lot of people do, is I start with the inside and use that as a foundation and build out from there.